Let's talk about balancing short-term and long-term goals to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. And goal setting, if you don't know it, is one of my favorite topics. We spent an entire year last year doing an annual challenge, one thing every day to get what we want in different areas and aspects of our life. And of course, that included growing and building and supersizing our business, because that's what I'm all about. So today I want to talk about short-term goals, long-term goals, and how do you balance the two? And then I'll share my actual super simple secret for how I make a decision and decide if we're going to do something or not to grow our business and to supersize our business. And it's gotten pretty simple. I ask one question, and if the answer is yes, we do it. If the answer is no, we don't do it. We think of another way, or we do something else. So short-term goals are goals usually defined as less than a year. So all of our annual goals, I consider short-term goals for our organization or for our business or whatever business we're working on. Long-term goals are usually 5 to 10 years, but anything over a year, I would consider a longer-term goal. Short-term goals are things like marketing initiatives, campaigns, advertising campaigns, programs, sales targets, right? Everybody's monthly and weekly and daily and annual sales target is a short-term goal, because guess what? We're going to look at it every small period and increment, and we're going to tweak it along the way, but it all feeds into our long-term vision, principles, purpose, reason for being, our values, our core values, things like that. They all tie together, both long-term and short-term. And a short-term goal needs to feed our long-term goals, or we probably won't do that thing or do that initiative. When we're looking at new technologies, because new technology would be a long-term goal usually. Usually it takes us more than a year to actually implement, create the systems, processes, and procedures and build them into our business. Of course, then for that long-term goal and initiative, there are short-term goals that have to be accomplished in order to make that project or that strategy happen. I consider strategies long-term goals. I don't usually pick a strategy. To me, tactics and tips and tricks and hacks are very, very short-term hit or miss things that we'll try to support our longer-term strategies. But brand development, for example, our brand, who we serve, picking a customer group, global expansion or internet expansion. Those are all strategies that I consider long-term. We don't hop online, try it for a month, and then if it doesn't work, we quit, right? That wouldn't serve us very well. So how do we balance doing the short-term things with the long-term things to ensure we get the best results for our organization and we continue to grow and supersize? Number one, we do strategic planning every single year and on an ongoing basis. We do strategic planning in my businesses and in the businesses that I work with. Why? Because it's that important. If we don't have the big vision of where we're taking the business, how can we do anything except, otherwise it's just a short-term cash grab, which, for some people that's fine, but that's not how I set up my businesses. If I want to supersize a business, it means I have structure, strategy, systems in place, documentation for everything, and I'm building it on a solid foundation of vision, mission, principles, purpose, core values, and what we stand for and what we stand against as an organization. Because, and I'll talk about that in a minute, we measure results. We are constantly looking for the key performance indicators, the things that we can look at that will give us a big picture of, are we moving in the right direction or not, both on a short-term and a long-term basis. We do very few things in any of my businesses nowadays if we don't have a way to measure it. And one of the first things we do is we say, okay, we're going to do this. Once we decide we're going to do something, we absolutely positively find a way to measure whether we're moving in the direction we want to go or not. Because if we're not, we want to know it sooner rather than later so we can tweak and change as quickly and easily as possible. We want to be adaptive because things outside of us change all the time. Things inside our organization change all the time. So we have got to embrace change. I like to give it a warm hug because it's inevitable. To me, change is just as inevitable as death and usually taxes. So you better plan for both. And I agree. I think we should plan for both. And then finally, we have to have adaptive leadership in our organizations in order to create a balance between short-term and long-term goals, in order to make better decisions, in order to be able to react and respond and be resilient when things change, because I guarantee they're going to change. I guarantee the business plan you start out with is never going to be the way it gets implemented. I don't think I've ever done a business plan or overseen a business plan, they're usually just for funding and financing, right? You want to organize and plan and research and prepare for things, but everything's going to change by the time you actually implement that plan, even if it's the next day from the day you made the plan. We want to embrace change, of course. We want to empower the people that are part of our organization. We want to train and coach and lead them and bring them up, build on their strengths as much as humanly possible, because it takes all of us to grow and build a business. And then we want to create a culture that rewards innovation, that lets people make mistakes and learn from those mistakes, that increase, or that really has a belief that change is an important part of our organization and it can actually be a competitive advantage. The more agile we are, the more resilient we are, the faster we are and the more proactive we are. We don't always want to be reactive, but when things change that are outside of our control, we generally react to them. But if we thought about them in advance, we usually have a better arsenal of options to choose from than if we don't consider them at all. So what's my decision-making tool to decide if we're going to do something or not? It is always asking the question, does this serve the people that we're here to serve better and match with who we are as an organization? Does it match our vision, our mission, our principles, our core values? And if it doesn't, we just say no to it. No matter how hot and exciting it seems coming down the pipe, we will still say no, unless there's a way to make it match those key elements of our business. But otherwise, it's just no. And if you've got those things in place, it's really easy to make decisions based on yes, we'll do this, or no, we won't. All right. That's it. Share your experience with balancing short-term and long-term goals in your organization. I will contend that this comes from the top of the organization, whether you do these things or not. Otherwise, whatever department or division of your business has the strongest characters in it, they will drive the organization. And that doesn't always give us the best results. All right. Have an awesome day. Any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow.